Hello everyone. How's everybody doing? It's been a while since I did one of these live streams. I've been thinking about some things, going through a few things, and trying to get everything back on the right track. Give some of you a minute to get on here. There's just a couple of things I wanted to talk about. If you don't catch all of this, you can go back to the beginning. But what I wanted to talk about was property rights. Ammon is in there because he was defending property. The Hammonds are in prison because they were sticking up for property. Joe Robertson was sticking up for his property. All these disputes that we have today in our country are all over property. Since humans started writing things down thousands of years ago, about 3,000 or so years ago, all the disputes have been over property. And now we have Ammon Bundy thrown in solitary because he refuses to comply with their orders. He owns his body. His body is his property. He has the right to be treated with dignity and respect. What most people have forgotten, and what most people, I think, just don't get, is that all our rights derive from property. I've said that many times before. And to force Ammon to follow a rule or to punish him for a rule he didn't agree to, that's involuntary servitude. They want him to be a slave. This is all about compliance. They're conditioning us to be slaves. They're conditioning us to believe that all people with badges are good guys. They want us to believe that we are nothing more than merchandise, that they can throw us in a cage for simply disagreeing with them, that they can throw us in a cage for giving them a wrong look. Now, what I just mentioned, I'm not talking about prison. I'm talking about out here in the streets. For those of us who want to stand up and speak up, we're being threatened. They tell us, don't make loud noises, protest the way we want you to protest, or else your loved ones get it. And they're talking about the political prisoners. Now, I do really admire Ammon for his bravery, his courage. And I think all of us understand that. That's where I think I get most of that fire from. Seeing how he stood, seeing the videos. This is all in a fight, and it's a struggle that will continue on. And we all know that the sheriff out there wasn't going to do anything. They laugh and smile in our face, and yet when they go talk to the executives, they tell the executives exactly what's going to go down, how they're going to investigate. It's all just lip service, and then they're going to come back and then clear them of any wrongdoing. Guys, just like in our community, no one likes a snitch. Nobody likes an informant. Nobody likes a rat. Among law enforcement, they do not like a rat, a snitch, or a traitor. They will back each other up to the end. And we all just have to learn to work around that. Keep the emails going. Keep the calls going. Especially emails. Emails are very important because it goes on record. Human recording is what's important. Maybe 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, our descendants can use our complaints to make changes and to derail this train of tyranny. Because the way it's going to tyranny. Now, they are controlling most of our property. We are not owners anymore. We are not true allodial landowners. We are not true property owners. We have privileges. The government has conditioned us and has convinced us to believe we are too stupid to handle our own lives. We are too stupid to make decisions in our own way. But let me read you Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States. We granted them privileges Those privileges we can revoke. We have rights that are endowed to us by our Creator, or if you believe we are the result of biological progression, whatever you believe in, the rights don't come from government. We are responsible for how the condition our government is in today. We are responsible for that. If you make a fire outside in a camp of your camping area, and you make a fire to cook, you are responsible to keep that fire contained. If it goes out and beyond the point where you wanted it, you're responsible for the damage. You have rights, but with those rights come responsibilities, guys. We cannot rely on government anymore. We cannot rely on police anymore. We have to rely on ourselves. We have to start getting the word out. Now, moving on to the Constitution and Article 1. Article 1 lays out what Congress has the authority to do. If you look it up, Article 1, it's bright in here, but it lists the things that they can and cannot do. If I go to my doctor and my doctor puts me on a specific diet because I have a heart condition, I have heart palpitations, and he tells me stay on this diet. These are the things you can eat, these are the things you cannot eat. Can I go and pencil in lasagna with extra cheese? Of course not. He gave me a list of things to follow. Who am I to go into his list and add on? I cannot do that, and we've allowed Congress to do that. Why? Because they've withheld information to us, and the information they've withheld is the Constitution. Now, the Constitution doesn't guarantee us freedom from tyranny. There's nowhere in there that guarantees it. It's up to us. The only amount of power that this Constitution has is the amount of power that we decide to give it. It means nothing more than just a piece of paper. Judge Navarro is perfect proof of that. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a damn about the Constitution. If I'm in front of you and you start speaking and I tell you shut the hell up and you sit down, do you still have freedom of speech? Of course not. Even if you were to point and say, Josh, this Constitution says I have free speech, I can just take it and say, I don't give a damn what the Constitution says. What are you going to do? The only rights you have are the ones you're willing to get up and stand up and defend. My 2-year-old, my 3-year-old understands the importance of protecting property. Those of you who have kids who are in that my stage, go and try to take their toy away. They defend it. They claim it. They say, mine, mine, mine. You have to claim it, defend it, and use it. The most important thing, what's almost as important, is the law of property. The law of property is just as important as the law of God. Because without property, you can't do anything. You have to control your own property. And that's what Ammon was trying to show us. Ammon was trying to challenge the government and their authority over property. This Constitution is non-transferable to the government. If we keep allowing government to operate outside the boundaries of the Constitution, we're going to keep losing rights and property. We're going to keep losing ground. Those of you who argue with each other at these rallies and say, you can't open carry, we can't open carry, because we'll just piss them off. We'll piss them off even more. If you disarm, you are admitting that what our guys did was wrong. You are admitting that the government has the true authority over the Second and First Amendment. Those rights are inherent, just like the color of my eyes, the organs I was born with, the fingertips at the end of my hands. They cannot be taken from me. I will not allow anyone to take them from me. I will not allow anyone to scare me into not exercising my rights. We have to stick together. We have to be aware and keep everyone posted, keep everyone aware of what's going on in your community. I was talking to BJ Soper the other day, and he asked me, what got you into this movement? How did you start? And pretty much my answer was, the state of Nevada revoked my right. They infringed on my right to work. They took away my right to work in private security. I had an opportunity, a job opportunity, that would have granted me a good salary. I had to go and ask permission to work in that industry. Although my potential employer at the time knew of my gross misdemeanor charge, he was still willing to hire me and contract with me. I went to the PILB. They said, no, you are not worthy to work in this field. I disputed it, I appealed it, and they still upheld my denial. That is what got me into this fight. Wherever the fight for liberty is, I will be there. And I hope you, wherever you are, you take part in your community, whether it's in your church, your county meetings, or your legislative meetings. Go and make your voice heard. Because again, guys, we are the reason the government is so out of control. We, the ones who have a voice, are responsible. And because we kept silent for so long, it's going to take longer to fix this. We have to start teaching our children how to stand, how to make a stand. They may need our guidance. They may need it. Because of course we don't want bloodshed. There's still room for dialogue. There's still room for communication. But the bottom line is, guys, is we need to step up and do something. And we can't be fighting each other and limiting one another. We're limiting one another and restricting each other from exercising rights that weren't granted by a majority rule. We already had them. I have rights. The dreams I had last night cannot be taken from me. The thoughts that I have right now cannot be taken from me. Even if I wanted to give them to you, I couldn't. I can tell you about them. But we have to start recognizing things that we possess and things that belong to us as truly ours. And we can't allow government to determine how much of those rights we can use. Because look at all the wrong they've done. They used anti-terrorist laws to lock up good men. And I'm talking about the Hammonds and Joe Robertson, who are obviously not terrorists. But the government passed those laws with fear. They went on a fear campaign and took it from us. When we have a government that uses this ticking time bomb scenario, it's a very dangerous thing. Because they know human behavior. They know that humans have a natural inclination to reach for safety rather than liberty. They play us. And they swear that it's in the name of safety. In the name of your fellow man. That the individual's rights isn't as important as the community's rights. We all need protection. Sometimes you need protection from yourself. That's the narrative of our government today. We need to start recognizing ourselves as true human beings. We are not conquered human beings. Stand up for your neighbor. Stand up for yourself. Stop being a victim. Some people are victims because they allow themselves to be. Now, my thoughts, people say I'm extreme. Some people say I'm going to get myself into some trouble. If I'm wrong, who have I wronged? The only limitation on my rights are the equal protection of other rights. If I go outside the boundary of my rights and my property, and I trespass upon the rights of my neighbor, then government should jump in and restore the balance. But when we have men in jail for victimless crimes with no damage to property, we have reached a point of tyranny. Because like I said, we are nothing more than merchandise in the eyes of the law. We all know about privatized jails. People are profiting off of bodies being in jail. Our bodies are our property. No one has rights to my body. Try to come and take something off my body. Try to take something from me or put me somewhere where I don't want to be. I hope you have good health insurance, because I'm a strong Second Amendment supporter, and you're going to pay. Now, guys, more things need to be done. This fight is long from over. Donating is a good thing. Protesting is a good thing. But we need to start going to the courts and making our voice heard. Even if you lose the fight, if you lose the battle, continue to make the argument. When I go to court for my driving with no license crime, or whatever they want to put it, I know I'm going to lose, because I know I'm going to state out case law, Murdoch versus Pennsylvania. No state shall convert a right into a privilege and issue a license and fee therefor. Shuttlesworth versus City of Birmingham, Alabama. If the state converts a right into a privilege and issues a license and fee therefor, the individual can ignore the license and engage in the activity with impunity. That means they can't punish me, but they still will. But I will still continue to drive with no license. I know some of you say, oh, Josh, it's stupid. You know what? It's my property. I'm going to fight it the way I want. I'm not going to worry about how it ends. I'm going to worry about how I stand. When I go in front of that judge, I will stand, and I will make the argument. They can throw me in a cell. They can put me in chains. But I will not comply. I will not comply, guys. I will do it in a peaceful way, because I'm not going to start a revolution off of small parking tickets or anything. I'm going to claim my property. I don't own cattle. I don't own a lot of land. But our fight is in property. All rights derive from property. If you have no property, you have no rights. Now, I'm not saying that the homeless man who sleeps under the bridge has no property or no rights because he has no property. His right to life comes from his body, which he owns. He owns that property, his body. Can I take his right to life? Of course not. I can violate his right to life, but I can't take it from him. So, I did this video. I want to do this live stream to get us all on the same page about property. All these disputes are over property. Go to criminal court. There's a victim, has damage to either their body or their property that was done maliciously in a violent way. Okay? Go to family court. You have two bodies who are divorcing, and they want to separate property. The house, the boat, the children, all that. They're separating property. Now go to misdemeanor court. You have people in there for driving with no licenses, spitting on the sidewalk, and their property was deprived from them. How? Because they were thrown in a cage, and their time of life that comes from their body is being put in a cage, and they can't get that out back. They can't get that back. I was only in there for 3 days, but those are 72 hours of my life that I will never get back. I spent longer in a jail. I was in county jail for 3 months. But it doesn't matter if it's 1 second, 1 day. When the government interferes with your movement and they restrict your movement, your free will, that is a violation. They violated your rights, no matter how small the time was. Now, I want to encourage all of you to start looking at every second that you spend on this earth as physical property, and that property belongs to you, and no one on this earth has a right to tell you how to spend that time. Stand up for your time of life. Stand up for your body. Stand up for the property that your body for the property that your body acquires. Whether it's with the hands that you have to build that property, or if it's with the time that you contract with someone else to accumulate wealth and purchase property. That's what's important. We have become so complacent in the way things are. We are in this consumer community, and we are no longer in the human community. We are all brothers and sisters under the same sun and the same moon. We have to start taking back our rights, not our country, because the Constitution is universal. The Constitution can be applied anywhere on this planet. It's just up to the people to apply it. Without the people applying it, it has no power. Freedom of speech is the freedom of speech. If you open up your Constitution, the freedom of speech shall not be infringed. Congress shall pass no law abridging the freedom of speech. The most important word in that sentence is the, because it affirms that the right existed long before the government was established. So guys, just remember that. Property, 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 property. All right derives from property. If you have no property, you have no rights. All right, guys. Sorry it's been so long. I got a little bit scared there. You can say I turned into a coward. I got a phone call from an FBI agent, and it was pretty scary. And Steven Stubbs, I know you got on here and you were watching, and you suggested that I change certain things, but I'm sorry. I can't do it. I have to stay in the fight. And I mean, I would still appreciate your help. But if not, I totally understand. I was threatened by an FBI agent who says I am under investigation for something, unlawful use of an apostille. Don't know if they are going to come get me. I'm not sure, but it has gotten me a little nervous, guys. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue in the fight. I'm going to keep doing what I can do. I work graveyard, so it's kind of hard for me to get out to Pahrump. But I hope you guys can learn something from this video. If not, I don't know what else to do. But keep those phone calls going to the CCA. Kelly Stewart and Gavin Symes is going to be out in Pahrump. We're all equal. We're all doing our part. Nobody's the boss of anyone. You all have to do your part when you arrive. Hold up your signs, do your live streams, encourage others to come out. And what I like to do is when I speak to people here in Las Vegas, I look at them as their potential jurors, and I speak to them in a humble way, very respectful. Drop some knowledge on them as far as the Constitution. So I see that 58 of you are watching. I can't see the comments. I always block the video. I always block my face. I hate seeing my face. I don't like watching these videos even after I make them. So I'll answer once I get a chance. But that's the reason why I've been off for a while. FBI agent called me, Agent Dylan, I believe was his name, and said that I'm under investigation. And that scared the hell out of me. But what can you do? If I'm under investigation, I think I might be doing something right because I never threatened anyone. So, and I've never put anyone in danger. I have family that work in the government, in ICE. I have relatives that work for ICE and also down in Texas that are in law enforcement. So I come from a military family. I'm the only one that didn't serve. I kind of went other ways. But long story short, guys, that's the bottom line why I've been MIA. Hope this doesn't antagonize the FBI agent. If anyone is interpreting my words as a threat or or a taunt, some kind of playful taunt or something, it isn't. I just know what can happen, like to people like Schaefer Cox. That's not impossible. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna cut this short. Sorry for yapping away, but I wanted to get this off my chest. Just remember why we do this: God, country, and family. Love y'all.